Hello children of class 8, welcome back to our e-learning class. Now in our previous class we have read about the parliamentary form of government, we have read about separation of powers, that means we have read about legislature, executive and judiciary. Now today we will read this part, that what is state. I have written what is state and what is government. I have written on the board before my class gets over. As usual I will move aside and you can check from the board what I have written. The word state is often used in this chapter. This does not refer to state governments. Remember, it does not refers to the state governments. Rather, when we use state, we are trying to distinguish it from government. Government is responsible for administering and enforcing laws. So you underline what is the role of government. It is responsible for administering and enforcing laws, making and implementing. The government can change with elections. The state, on the other hand, refers to a political institution that represents a sovereign people who occupy a definite territory. Sovereign means a supreme ruler. We can thus speak of the Indian state, the Nepal state, etc. The Indian state is a democratic form of government. The government or the executive is one part of the state. The state refers to more than just the government and cannot be used interchangeably with it. Now you have to remember that India's democratic system of government has the full right and power to govern itself without any interference from outside sources or bodies. Now children, let's come to the next part. The fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution include right to equality. That means whatever I am in front of law. I am equal with all others, or I am equal to all others. All persons are equal before the law. This means that all persons shall be equally protected by the laws of the country, whether I am a domestic worker or a teacher or the Prime Minister of India. It also states that no citizen can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, caste or sex. Every person has access to all public places including playgrounds, hotels, shops, etc. The state cannot discriminate against anyone in matters of employment. But there are exceptions in this that you will read about later in this book. This is the problem of this book. Every time it is saying that you will read later or you have read this before. The practice of untouchability has also been abolished. Now, right to freedom. This includes the right to freedom of speech and expression, the right to form associations, the right to move freely and reside in any part of the country. Reside means to stay. And the right to practice any profession, occupation or business. If you want to become a doctor, you can become. If you want to become a lawyer, you can become. Right against exploitation. The Constitution prohibits human trafficking. Human trafficking means that when you are practicing, it is actually the practice of illegally transporting a person from one place to another or a country from another country, typically for the reason of forced labor. Forced labor and children working under 14 years of age. Right to freedom of religion. Religious freedom is provided to all citizens. Every person has the right to practice, profess and propagate. Propagate means to spread the religion of their choice. Cultural and educational rights. The Constitution states that all minorities, religious or linguistic, can set up their own educational institutions in order to preserve and develop their own culture. Right to constitutional remedies. This allows citizens to move the court if they believe that any of their fundamental rights have been violated by the state. Okay children, so in our next video we will proceed with the next part of the chapter. Now before my class gets over, I am moving aside. You see what I have written. State, it is a concept, an idea or a name used to denote any community of persons living on a definite territory and organized for the exercise of sovereignty. It cannot be seen. Government, it is made by the people of the state. It is formed by the representatives of the people. Okay children, you have seen. Bye then.